Every Ninjago episode is a masterpiece. Okay, obviously not every episode of the show is a banger, but hang on. I've done this before. How can I salvage this? 10 best episodes. Haha, I'm so smart and intelligent. This time number 10 will be the lowest score out of all the episodes, and number 1 will be the absolute best rated episode. All these scores come from IMDb, and yes, IMDb not accurate, but it was all I had, okay?
Doctor, it appears our patient needs to have his knee put on ice.
I'm happy to help.
The finale to Season 5. It does a good job at wrapping the season up. The ninja taking on the preeminent mech is fun to watch, and the preeminent herself is really threatening. The fight between Lloyd and Moro is really cool and really personal. Moro is pretty much fighting his inner demons as he sees himself as the Green Ninja. It has them traveling between the different realms that we've seen before. They even reference Chima, which had finished airing at the time. Lloyd talking to Garmadon in the Cursed Realm is a nice send-off for the character. We also get a Chen and Klaus cameo. There are some minor things that catch my eye, like the lack of music in some scenes, which makes it feel a little bit off, but it's overshadowed by the better things, like Nia unlocking her true potential. Moro and Wu reconciling is a great way to end Moro's arc. Overall, a great episode and an even greater ending to the season. I will say maybe rated a little bit too high, 7.5 out of 10. Hello, Editing Tom here. So, while I've been making this video, Dragon's Rising episodes got different scores because people are still rating them. So the next episode, The Calm Inside, went from 9.1 to 8.7. So that's why it's lower. I'm not going to re-record anything, but I'm just going to keep it as it is. So it's 9.1. Oh yeah, a Dragon's Rising episode. The start of the episode has a flashback of young Lloyd training with Master Wu, which is the first time we've seen him in this season. We are reminded of the lesson taught at the end of the episode when Lloyd takes control of the chaotic battle. The problem is that the suit Lloyd wears isn't accurate at all to what he wore in Season 1. It's just his March of the Oni suit. But Sam Vincent performs lines exactly how they would have sounded by Season 1 Lloyd.
How am I supposed to hit moving targets?
The chaotic action with all the dragons and the claws of Imperium is fun to watch, and the mystery of Kai and Nia playing with this big machine is intriguing. Eren and Sora just rescue Ryu, which is fine to watch, but it's like, whatever. Zane is also reintroduced in this episode. He raises the Imperium Monastery, which is probably meant to have a bigger role in the season, but we don't know that yet. I also think this line is kind of cringe.
Ninja never quits!
It's a decent episode, but rated too high, I think. 8 out of 10.
Stay calm. Don't panic. Why panic? I mean, I'm all alone, surrounded by creepy black tendrils that are getting closer and closer.
Oh boy, this is an episode, alright. I think showing the Oni taking over the First Realm was a good way to set them up as villains, making them seem more threatening, but I can't say the same for the ending of the episode. Being kind of an end to the original saga, having it loop back around to the pilot episodes by having Kai using his blacksmith abilities was a great touch that doesn't feel forced. Also, bringing back the golden weapons was cool as well. Remember that the entire Oni trilogy spent its time hyping up the Oni, and their ending is so lame. The ninja used the Tornado of Creation to defeat them, but we don't even see it. There's a big flash and they just disappear. Cole's return could have been a little bit more exciting, maybe if we didn't see him before. It would have made it more surprising. Garmadon going into his Oni form was kind of cool, even though he looks really silly. Jay proposing to Nia is so in character for him. It comes off as very mistimed, but he has a lot of logic behind it. Lloyd meeting the first Benjutsu master is a big deal, as we hear so much about him, but we've never actually heard him speak before. It's kind of a disappointing episode to finish the original saga, but it does the job. 6.5 out of 10.
Or we'll have to get a ninja up on ya.
What does that even mean?
I don't know. I was improvising.
Game of Masks gives us the origin story for Harumi, who, spoilers, was the main villain for Season 8. I always love when we get to see events from the show from an outside perspective. It's also crazy when the show kills off a character, even if they're a side character. This is also the episode where Harumi gets the final mask and reveals herself to Lloyd. You really feel for Lloyd as he realizes Harumi was just using him. The whole scene is just so good. It's really clever seeing all the pieces fall into place. While Lloyd is having a crisis, the ninja are tied up. They are eventually freed, but they team up with the Sons of Garmadon to fight whatever this is. It's a little strange to me that both groups are willing to fight this crab instead of just running away. Lloyd jumping on board the bounty alone with all the Sons of Garmadon was just kind of stupid, and just an excuse for Lloyd to get kidnapped. Having him be defeated by Harumi or something would have made more sense. Those are all just minor negatives in a fantastic episode. No change for this one. 9.2 out of 10. Hold on to your hats, fellas. This episode made boys sad and men cry. The ending to Season 3, the return of the Overlord. Again, and Zane's death. Anyway, the ninja are still on the comet, and the ninja somehow built a spaceship, which is kind of crazy, but they've built crazier things, I guess. Another crazy thing is the ninja re-entering the atmosphere with elemental shields. What the hell? This had never been brought up before, or ever again. What are some positive things about the episode? I think the Overlord having the power of the first Spinjitzu master is crazy, in a good way. He even uses Spinjitzu, that's sick. Also, the Overlord using the buildings of the city as a wall is great. The plan to shove a shrinking pill down the Overlord's throat is an interesting plan. Can't say it's cool. It's actually kind of lame. Watch this. What the hell? This episode just pulls so much shit out of its ass. It's unreal. Wow, the shrinking pill idea didn't work. That's crazy. Okay, it's time for Zane to die. Everyone crying out for Zane to stop, plus the music just makes this scene so freaking emotional. This coupled with his life flashing before his and our eyes honestly almost makes me tear up. Remember back then, fake out deaths weren't all over the show yet, so this was mind-blowing to me. And I'm sure many others. It also starts to snow during his funeral. The episode itself was kind of mid, but Zane's sacrifice carries it. 8.5 out of 10.
Maybe Jay was right about there being a secret entrance. Wouldn't that be crazy? Jay being right?
Hey!
Ugh, I love that theme song. I honestly didn't expect a Crystallized episode to be this high on the list. Lloyd is in the middle of pretending to be the mechanic, being led to the mysterious Kabuki mask. The mystery has an excellent reveal, with the Kabuki mask being Harumi. I don't think anyone expected her return, so it was quite shocking for people, myself included. Seeing all the past villains together is still really jarring. Love or hate Crystallized, but you can't say it wasn't willing to try new things. The episode also has this line.
We have an imposter among us.
You can't tell me this isn't an Among Us reference. I think this episode is rated so high solely because of Harumi's reveal. But if you already know that going in, then it's obvious. 7 out of 10. The latest episode of the show so far, as of recording. Sora and Eren free themselves, showing how far they've come from their training. Kai and Wildfire interacting is fun, with both seeming to have the elemental power of fire. The ninja are fortified in the Monastery of Imperium for the whole episode, but it leads to Lloyd and Zane discovering a massive source dragon. The scene of Lloyd connecting with the source dragon is probably one of the best in the whole franchise. It's just so mysterious and interesting visually. I'm not really sure how I feel about Eren and Sora taking down Raz. He has literally taken down dragons, but I guess elemental power beats Tiger. This episode also wraps up Sora's arc in the season, but this isn't the season final. It's only part 1 of 2. It's also stupid how they lock Raz up instead of Raptor. Anyway, the episode is rated too high in my opinion. Still really good, with this vision scene being outstanding. 8.5 out of 10.
But I am her son. And I made her a promise to stand up to tyrants like you. Always!
The Son of Lily. The season final of Master of the Mountain. This season, I think, is overrated, but this episode is pretty good, I won't lie. The fight between Cole and the Skull Sorcerer is one of the best fights in the show, and this episode also has one of those one-takes I don't shut up about. The other characters don't get much to do though, as they are relegated to fighting the infinite waves of skeletons. Cole unlocking the Spinjitzu burst through remembering his dead mother's words is pretty powerful. It's a shame that the Spinjitzu burst hasn't been seen since this episode, but I guess that doesn't really matter. Overall, I can't say this episode left too big of an impact on me. It's a solid episode, but I don't think it's anything that special, and is rated too high. 7.3 out of 10. Well, would you look at this? This time, it's the second last episode of a season. It starts off with a bang as Nia faces Kalmar and Wojira, with the animators going hard on the water animation. Jay even almost drowns. The music as well. What were the people making this episode on? Nia sacrifices herself to save Jay, and I really like this because it makes sense and doesn't feel like a stupid idea. She tearly says I love you to Jay and becomes one with the sea. Anytime there's a somewhat emotional scene, the episode gets a high rating, which is pretty much what I've been doing so far, but this one doesn't hit as the others do. 7 out of 10. I'll tell you now, this is a 10. It's the episode that wraps up the events of 2 seasons and is just an absolute banger. All the ninja reuniting, Garmadon's defeat, and Lloyd getting his powers back are some of the highlights of the episode. Wu and Lloyd confronting Garmadon with the ninja taking on the Colossus gives everyone something to do, which makes the whole episode flow really well. Even Dareth, a character I don't care for, gets a moment for himself when he takes these guys out. Lloyd defeating Garmadon by enduring and not fighting is the best way he could have been defeated. Lloyd had spent the whole season enduring and staying strong, so he uses what he's learned to get the upper hand. And the icing on the cake, when Lloyd gets his powers back, it's such a triumphant moment, signaling that he has truly won. This coupled with the Resistance helping the ninja take down the Colossus just makes it so good. Everyone partying in the end is so fitting. It's a big moment that should be celebrated. The episode isn't even done being hype. It sets up the Oni coming to Ninjago. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10. Oh my god, this is the peak of Ninjago episodes. Did you agree with my ratings, or should I go eat my Raptor minifigure?